Senate lawmakers failed to reach a bipartisan deal on the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act ahead of the May 14 Senate Banking Committee markup. The bill, which aims to bring the U.S. digital asset industry under federal regulation for the first time, has stalled despite passing the House in July 2025 with bipartisan support. The Clarity Act attempts to resolve a long-standing dispute between the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission by assigning clear regulatory roles for different types of digital assets. The SEC would oversee most initial token sales, while the CFTC would regulate spot trading of digital commodities. Payment stablecoins would fall under a mix of Federal Reserve and state supervision. Despite the bill's broad structure, final agreement in the Senate remained elusive due to disagreements over ethics language and developer protections. Senator Cynthia Lummis said the bill's provisions were almost 99% sorted out, but that final 1% proved decisive. The sticking point was the lack of a provision explicitly prohibiting government officials and their families from benefiting financially from crypto investments. This omission became a major issue for Democrats, who refused to support the bill without stronger ethics language. Senators Adam Schiff and Ruben Gallego demanded additional safeguards before agreeing to back the legislation. The issue is not just symbolic, it reflects broader concerns about potential conflicts of interest in a rapidly evolving. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Financial sector. The Clarity Act is a key piece of infrastructure for the crypto market, as it would establish a clear regulatory framework for digital assets in the United States. Without such a framework, the market remains in legal limbo, with unclear jurisdiction between agencies and inconsistent enforcement. The bill's failure to pass in the Senate means that the industry will remain in a state of regulatory uncertainty, which could impact investment and innovation. Developers and startups may hesitate to launch new projects without clear legal protections, and investors may avoid markets where enforcement is ambiguous. The Clarity Act also touches on the question of how to define and regulate stablecoins, a growing segment of the market that currently lacks a unified regulatory approach. The proposed framework would place stablecoins under a mix of Federal Reserve and state supervision, but the details remain subject to debate. Another key issue was the lack of protections for developers of digital assets. The bill as drafted did not include language that would shield developers from liability in cases where their work is used in ways they did not intend. This omission raised concerns among industry stakeholders, who argued that without such protections, innovation could be stifled. The Clarity Act's failure to reach consensus in the Senate highlights the challenges of regulating a sector that is still in its early stages. While the bill represents a significant step forward in terms of market structure and oversight, it also reveals the difficulty of balancing competing interests. The dispute over ethics language is just one example of how political considerations can intersect with regulatory policy in unexpected ways. The situation also raises questions about the broader political implications of crypto policy. For example, Bloomberg estimated that President Trump has made at least $1.4 billion from crypto ventures, including memecoins tied to him and his wife and his family's stake in the DeFi project World Liberty Financial. This financial exposure adds another layer of complexity to the debate over ethics and regulation. The next signal to watch is whether the Senate will revisit the clarity. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Act in a revised form, or if the bill will be dropped altogether. If the bill is revived, it will likely require compromises on both sides, particularly around ethics language and developer protections. The stakes are high for the entire crypto ecosystem, as a clear regulatory framework could help attract institutional investment and provide legal clarity for startups and developers. In the absence of such a framework, the market will remain vulnerable to enforcement actions and regulatory shifts that could disrupt operations and investment flows. The Clarity Act is not just a legislative proposal. It is a signal of how seriously lawmakers are taking the crypto industry and how prepared they are to shape its future.